Hello, Derek.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, not bad, not bad.
Well, your
Busy day.
deepest
Busy.
dream,
What's that?
your deepest dream, right?
Yeah, it's sort of cinematics, but yeah, it's all the same thing.
Oh, okay. Now I understand it. Okay, because I
Oh,
looked at your because you talked to Jane Badler, and I was like, oh, that's funny because
oh,
Mark Singer and everything. That's hilarious.
yeah. Actually, well, first of all, I'm here with Derek Ting, the writer, director, producer, star of Agent Recon, and I suck because I did not know this was third in the series. Had I known that, I probably would have maybe done more homework and watched the first two. But one thing I'm kind of struck by is that this kind of, without having seen the first two, still kind of followed along. There's some parts where I figured they might be calling back to previous things, but for the most part, follow along pretty well. Is that in the writing process? Is that something that kind of goes through your mind of maybe this is the first one anyone's seeing of the series?
Yeah, I mean, so because it is a trilogy, but definitely you got to be able, you can watch it. And that was in writing this. I wrote this during the pandemic. I learned a lot of lessons from one and two, Agent Intelligence, and Agent Revelation, and you're learning about the story and this new world. Um, but during that time, you couldn't film anything because it's just too dangerous. So I had time to really think about, oh, what kind of movie do I want to make? Um, and it really came down to just making it super fun. Aliens, zombies, and vampires, and that's like generally like the world building and new rules and stuff, and lots of action, but a story, and people will watch this and hope they'll see that there really is a nice arc for both characters, Chuck and Mark, and it's a very simple story of a character and his kind of mission to go out to find this, do a recon on Nikki Lay, who plays the character that they're searching for. So um, yeah, and I think people can really easily latch on to the story. It's a mission. Group of Marines, they go out and they go on a recon mission and they encounter something that they hadn't experienced before, and they have to get themselves out of it. And it's really just getting themselves out of it.
Yeah. And talking about like your many hats you wear in this, directing and acting, I've seen people do that before, but you're the star and it's very action heavy. I'm guessing there's been some stunt coordinating done well before shooting. Like how, so if you're the director, I imagine you sit back and you get to watch everything kind of play out, but you're in it. So how does that work on set?
But what's great is, I mean, I've worked with my team several times now. Um, a lot of kudos to Action Factory when I did the first one. All these guys are the top stunt guys. They worked on Marvel projects. And my stunt coordinator, second unit director Joe Fiddler, he was looking out for the action. Of course, I've written it into the script and given him a lot of direction. We have a lot of same taste of what we want to see. So a lot of that, because I'm self-directing, I have to trust them. But after like two movies, it's like, okay, you guys know what to do. And every so often I'm watching playback and then I'm like steering it back or saying, oh, I want this, I want that shot. But we had a great team, so it was
Yeah.
fantastic. Watch a lot of the behind the scenes. We're putting them up slowly.
Oh, nice.
Um,
And also you mentioned learning stuff from the previous agent movies. What are some of the things that you learned, like maybe mistakes you made in the previous ones that you shored up on this one?
yeah, I mean, Christopher Nolan talks about intelligent compromise. The first one was a lot of very intelligent compromise, very small budget, and then the budget got bigger for the second one, Agent Revelation. We had Michael Dorn in it, and so the first one was I wanted to do action, and the location was super challenging. It was out in the desert. It was insane. It was cold. It was hot. It was windy. It was every weather you can imagine. But ultimately, I learned how to work with a stunt team. So there's like a lot of rigging, and there's a lot of pulls, and of course there's falls and navigating terrain. And then the second one, Agent Revelation, has many more visual effects, so really 400, 500 set extensions. If you don't know what a set extension is for people out there, it's cutting the background out and putting like a new background in and doing that in a 3D nature. And then this one was an evolution of bringing all those together and then upping the level of everything in terms of every department.
And
I
also
mean, we
like,
got Chuck Norris and Marc Singer, so not so
oh,
bad.
I mean, I would love that. So congratulations there. But with the writing, so this being your third one, I imagine there's not much of this, but maybe in the previous ones, is there stuff like when you're writing this, like maybe start writing a scene and then just kind of pause and like, no way in hell I'm gonna have the budget to shoot that, taking that, we're finding a different way around this. Like you still get to the story points, but kind of work right with what you can actually do.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I got into writing, was you have ultimately have that much more control. I can see why Stallone directed 2 and 3 and all the Rocky, and and has gone on to self-direct, and many more actors are doing it nowadays too. Um, but the script is king, and that's how you get good actors to come on board. And so now though you're challenged with a budget, and how do you make it realistic? How do you make it believable? So a lot of times I'm rewriting things. I'm looking at locations. So I scouted several locations and kept on thinking like, okay, maybe that can be that part or that can be that part. So you're really just kind of like hustling a bit to adapt the screenplay to your budget as well. And one of the things and I'm shooting in LA, which is super expensive, by the way. And I'm shooting at like Zack Snyder says. Zack Snyder's shot Rebel Moon, where I shot. I shot at several ranches, though, by the way, in LA, not just one. Um, but one of the advantages of that is when you shoot on a big set is that you don't have to move so many times. And a lot of the scenery is amazing too. Like there's this huge mountain that was beautiful. By the way, it was like raining, like a lot of precipitation in LA, which is like never happens. And when I scouted it, it was like kind of desertous. But then when we got there, it was like all lush and green. And I'm like, oh man, I'm never gonna be able to reshoot this. We better get this right. I had like so few shoot days. So, it's things like that. But you're always adapting the script. You're rewriting the script throughout up until to make it work.
Yeah.
And that's the
Well,
advantage of being the writer.
so is this the final button in the Agent series? Or are you going to go further, or are you moving on to maybe a different trilogy, or what do you got coming up in the future?
Definitely, there's more coming. Chuck said you should do a TV series. So I said, well, okay. And then the distributors, Quiver and Millennium, we've talked about another franchise. But I have something that I want to do. That's pretty awesome. I'm pretty sure I can just say to people, I'm pretty sure and confident that I'm going to continue to do action.
Oh,
I think
nice.
I just good at it, and now I know how to work with the visual effects team, the stunt team, end to end. And so I've just been adding a lot more tools to the chest and and skills. And so, but action, I grew up on action films. So for now, for now, and then maybe I'll move on to something else. I don't know.
Well,
Other genres.
I love action, so love to hear it. We have a what's in the box segment, and each week we have a bunch of movies in the box. Each week we'll pull one out to watch for the following week. And we like to have people put movies into the box. These are movies that are either deeply personal to you, or maybe that movie's really good and no one talks about it. What's a movie you would like to put into the box?
Well, we should talk about Marc Singer's Beastmaster if you haven't seen it. I mean,
I
geez,
mean,
it's a classic. And the funny thing is, like working with him, he was telling me stuff that, on set, about, his character and what he was doing. And it's just so amazing, the mentorship. So I learned a ton from him. And for Chuck Norris, I would put his Silent Rage is one that I watch with my dad. Which is, he fights this super being and he can't beat him. So he's what I love about the action in that, and you'll see this in Agent Recon, is that he's trying to figure out how to beat this guy, right? But this guy just keeps coming back. And I love that. That's what I think is, I hope you see that in Agent Recon, is I think that's what's missing from all these people have taken all these, these beautiful moves and stuff, but where's the thought? That's what Bruce Lee was showing too. Like he was showing feints and moves and high and low and stuff like that to get the hit. But now it's a lot of butterfly kicks and helicopter kicks. And don't get me wrong, I love Jean-Claude. So Jean-Claude, if you're out there, I love Bloodsport and all your movies too. And um, huge fan. So, but that's the thing, is it was really like the problem solving of a fighter. And that's the chess match. That's the chess match in MMA too, that he's a grappler and this guy's a striker. So that's what makes it fun. And what's that matchup going to look like? And that's some of the things that I'm doing in Agent Recon, and that's some of the stuff that I want to continue to develop.
Nice. Well, Agent Recon comes out on digital and on demand June 21st. You know what? Love the cast. As soon as I saw Marc Singer, I was like, oh, hell yeah. You mentioned Beastmaster. I'm right there with you. And I hope everyone goes to see this. And congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thanks for watching it. And yeah, everybody enjoy.